This is a tutorial video on how you can create case studies and news posts for the new website. So as soon as I'm logged into the WordPress dashboard, where you're going to go first is to posts. And posts are where you're going to add both your news elements as well as those case studies. So as you can see here, here's the full list of all both news and case studies that already exist. So if I wanted to come into any of them for MBTA, for example, if I just hover over it, I can then edit it. And then you can see the different content areas where then you can make changes to. So we have the project type and sort of that messaging there. Here is the paragraph that appears beneath. And then if I keep scrolling down here, here are those titles as well as those numbers and the subtitles. So really you could use the space to be whatever you want in that area, and you could also add more numbers or less if you wanted to remove. If you wanted to reorder, I can just drag and hold it down, move it up and down. Here is that area to add a testimonial if you have one for a case study, content, the name of the person providing the testimonial and their title, as well as just a CTA if it's applicable for that particular case study. Here is where the featured image is for that particular case study, so the main image on the top. So if I wanted to swap it out, I could simply remove it and set a featured image. And then this is what's called your media library. So every time you upload a photo, it's going to live here. So you could certainly reuse a photo that's already in here if it makes sense. Otherwise, you can definitely upload a file from your computer by just selecting and choosing one. So for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to reuse one. I'm going to do set featured image, so then you can see my photos here. Now over here on the right hand side is where you can actually select which category in regards to industry as well as service. So here you can choose if it makes sense that you did multiple services for a particular case study. You can definitely multi-select here, as well as on the top as far as categories go. Here you can choose if it's a particular one that already exists here, as well as add new categories if need be. But otherwise, the main thing to remember is to click update if you make a change. Otherwise, you can definitely preview it to see if you like it, but otherwise, if you just click update, that will save your changes, as well as if, God forbid, you click update and you want to revert it back, here you'll see revisions. So if I go ahead and browse revisions here, I can then roll it back to a previous version if I needed to. So I could just drag it back to what it was before and restore it. So it really is foolproof. If you happen to hit update by accident, you can definitely roll it back. And I do want to show in terms of creating a new case study, I could do that by doing posts, add new. And this is what it would look like if I started from scratch. Now, if I'm creating a news post, all you would have to do is put title of the news post. So in one case it would be Boston Security Expo, and just put your description here. And then if I scroll all the way down, I have the option to add, again, a CTA if I wanted to, but you don't necessarily have to. But otherwise, I can just really set a featured image for the news post, and then I can just choose on the top. I can just select news, knowing that this is just a news article, not necessarily a case study. So I could definitely still choose service type, but really all you're probably going to do is put title here, the description of your news post, select that it's news, so that way in the Resource Center it's classified as news, and then set your featured image here for the image of the news post. And once you hit publish, it'll show up under news, time-stamped in the Resource Center. One awesome thing to note is if you did want to schedule out news posts, you can do that. So if I do this publish immediately and edit it, and I know a news post, a PRP, should be scheduled out, and I just have time to write it, I can then schedule it out to go out March 1st. If I hit OK, then you can see that this post can then be scheduled, knowing it's going to be happening in the future. Now, if it is a case study, the way you can change it is if I scroll down, here is this template, and instead of a default news template, I'm actually going to change it to a case study. And you'll notice when I do that, if I scroll up, here populates the fields for a case study. So we have the project type, and again, these fields come back. So we have the numbers. I can add row to use those numbers with the subtitles that are in the other case studies, and you can then add your testimonial in, given that it's a case study. So again, just sort of easy way to toggle if it's a news element or if it's a case study, and then to add in the information. Again, feel free to use that preview option to be able to see exactly what the fields are, to then be able to make the post or the case study exactly what you want it to be.